You know, if you got a date, the only place to go really was the cinema. So everyone, all the teenagers would be in couples in the cinema every night from Monday to Sunday. As I got older, I continued going to the cinema, and my dad became ill, and he used to take me once a week when I was about 8 to 12. But then after that, the girls in the street would go to the cinema. And I remember a young lady in the street called Dolores. She was a bit older than me. And if she had a date, she would take me with her because she didn't like going on her own. And you could see the disappointment. I think she was about 16 and I was about 13. You could see the disappointment on the young man's face when she brought me with her. You know, but she said, I never go anywhere without taking someone with me.
So would you act like a chaperone then on the days?
I was a chaperone. I was Dolores' chaperone, yes.
Would
yeah.
that have been common at the time for
That would have been quite a common thing, because in Corinthian Street where I lived, there'd be about 10 girls, and they'd be more like sisters than neighbours, and we all looked after each other. And say because Dolores was about the oldest of the group, she didn't just break away. She she wanted one of us with her, even though she was growing up.
So what had happened then when you'd be the chaperone for Dolores?
Well, the young boy would walk both of us home to the street, and the mums would come out, and that would be it. That would be,
So would they sit on the back row, or?
No, while she was with me, we just sat on an ordinary row. And the young boys would usually accept it in the end, you know. I remember one particular date when I was 15. My friend and I went on a double date to the Stella, and The King and I was on. And my friend had a tendency to giggle, and every time The King came on, my friend giggled and the whole row was shaking. And I'm afraid the four of us were asked to leave the Stella. So I've got it to my credit that I was thrown out of The King and I.
And what was making her laugh so much?
Was Hazel, my friend, always had the tendency to giggle. She was a real good fun. She just found it funny when Yul Brynner came on and burst into song. And she just couldn't stop herself. But I do remember when we got outside, the dates that we were with being very, very annoyed because they'd spent the last of their pocket money on taking us into the pictures. And it was a bit embarrassing for me because at the time Bill Haley was on the cinema, and there were rumours that girls were getting up dancing and being asked to leave. So I felt a bit ashamed being asked to leave for The King and I.
It's a bit of a comparison to Bill Haley in the comments.
Yes, yes.
So can you tell us a bit more about that, Bill Haley in the Comets? Did you go and see?
When I was 15, the American rock stars had started to come out, Bill Haley and the Comets. And it was amazing, I hadn't been interested in music till then. And a few people had records. I don't remember going to the cinema to see Bill Haley and the Comets, but I went to see The Girl Can't Help It with Jane Mansfield, and I thought that was fabulous. I think that had Little Richard in it, and Elvis Presley was starting to come out. It was just amazing. But I used to love the stories where my friends would go to the cinema and they couldn't keep themselves in the seat. And they used to be, they used to be asked to leave if you tried to dance, but the music was so good. And then I started going to see Elvis Presley on the cinema, and I think I remember his first film, Love Me Tender, but I never heard a word of it because every time Elvis sang, the screams were unmerciful. So I never really saw an Elvis Presley film till they came on the television, because when I'd go to the cinema, you couldn't hear a thing.
So would all the girls go wild then?
They would go wild and just scream on the top of their voices.